I thought I'd show you how I colorized a muted scene. Kind of a cool scene that was painted and then colorized over top of it. Here is a shot of I'm at the beach. We're on vacation, and I'm just there doing a plein air sketch. This sketch took 90 minutes. I know it because I set my watch, and everybody asked me. They'll probably ask you, how long did it take for you to paint that? That's what I hear the most. Well, so I painted this scene, and it turned out well, but I was doing it just because I was on vacation and I wanted to practice my painting, and plein air, as everybody knows, is the best. But I posted I posted this little video on Facebook, and man, it got all kinds of reviews. So I turned around, I did another one, but I didn't save the one that I painted. I scraped it off, and well, several people had offered to buy it, so I'd painted this other muted scene, and then I decided I would turn it in. The next day, we watched the sunrise, so I thought, well, I'll just turn that scene into a sunrise. So I didn't video that. So a friend of mine, she wanted to buy the piece. Well, I'd already sold it, so I decided to paint it again for her. And this is how I started. As you can see, it was just a gray wash, a little warmer in the sky. The horizon line there is maybe a third or less, and I had painted it in somewhat green grayish tones as far as the water goes, or a little cooler. But so I've started off with some warm stuff here, and I started off very slow. And I thought, well, I'd look at some ocean scenes that other folks have done. This is Winslow Homer. We'll take another look at his stuff. So I'm just popping in, and I feel like a fighter who hasn't, who is about to fight, but he won't throw a punch. You know, he's him hauling around, and so it's taken me a while to get going. So I've sped this up a little bit, just so you won't totally lose interest. Um, but as you can see, I had drawn that sun in with a quarter. Now here's another Winslow Homer. I'd drawn that in with a quarter, and then just to get the roundness of the shape, a little bit of a cheat. And now I'm working on putting in the sun, and that I believe was some sort of cad yellow. And then here's another. I love the way the rocks play in that one. We don't have that to work with. I'll be honest with you. The scene that I'd painted there was where we were at. It was pretty boring. There was just nothing there but the waves and the ocean. It was dreary. It was cold. There wasn't. So that's why I had decided to. I thought, well, I'll just warm that scene up, because the next day, like I said, we had gone to a sunrise service. We were there around Easter time, and the sun. We watched the sun come up. It was just beautiful, and it just lit everything up, of course. And so I thought, well, I'll just turn that muted scene into. We'll add color and just use our imagination as to how the sun would bounce around on the ocean here. And of course, we witnessed it. We saw what it would do. But so I thought, and I found this out for those of you people that are selling art. Folks love, love, love beach and ocean scenes. I mean, I didn't realize how popular that they are until I went posted some stuff on Facebook. I've sold everything that I've painted, and painting more because I had a lot more ideas. I just haven't gotten to them all. But so so it's definitely if you like painting these scenes, and you know, and it didn't dawn on me. I'm a little slow, but I've seen other artists, and they are always doing an ocean or a beach scene, and man, I can see why, because financially it is a um, good choice. Again, you have to want to do it. For me, I'll paint anything. I love to paint anything, but I paint everything around home. Where I'm in West Virginia, and I kind of feel like a fraud at times. I mean, I couldn't see me going to Italy and painting. I mean, I could, but it just I kind of follow in Andrew Weiss' thoughts on that sort of thing. But anyhow, I've certainly enjoyed painting this scene, and like I say, it's pretty fun to take a scene that's muted, and I wished I would have videoed doing the setup, because this painting here probably took 2 to 3 hours in all. It's almost real time. I'm showing you, even though I sped it up, but I didn't edit out too much. Um, what you see is pretty much how I did it, except for when I painted the the first part. It took me about 45 minutes, because there wasn't that much to it. It was just grays, and I did a mixture of, in the ocean there, I think it was like a muted green. It was probably viridian, a little bit of ultramarine, and some alizarin. Uh, I I really rely on ultramarine and alizarin, crimson. Um, I use that quite a bit in about any mixture that I'm doing. Um, that gave me that green that you see there. Now later on, you'll probably see me use a little bit more of a greener green. Probably have a little bit more yellow ochre or something like that in it. Right here, you're seeing those white. Now this compositionally is really nice. Those white veins, like that, they're like ocean or like caps or whatever they are. You know how the white, um, they're great lead-ins, um, and I think they could be fun to use. I'm doing another painting I may show later on of a similar scene. Well, it's the exact same place, but there's the pier, and just the way those the veins. I don't know what those are actually called. I'm not the most well versed oceanographer, ocean savvy person, but you see what I mean. The white that's leading in, and those are great for, again, for leading your eye in. Because my ideas on this compositionally was, of course, the sun to the left. The darkest darks are there on the right underneath that wave that's coming up, and it's sort of like opposing each other. The cool of that shadow and that wave to the right versus the hot sun, and then everything that's going on around the sun. And of course, using the yellows and the reds to dance off of the top of the ocean, uh, to lead you in and out. Those are my ideas on composition. Composition is it's a fuzzy subject. Um, Here you see me adding some blues, some deeper blues. Now, I had a really hard time in the video. It's like you may see it look kind of washed out at times, and then it'll get a little darker. I had to adjust it in the program that I'm using, because I was surprised at how the video didn't look as well as I thought it would. It definitely didn't look like the painting, if I must say so, because it was. There might have been a little bit of glare, may have been, and it may have been that the camera was causing a lot more contrast. The subtle stuff was dropping out. I was kind of surprised, but it's close, and you'll get the idea in this painting, and hopefully it will interest you. Um, so why do something like this? Well, this was my purpose. A lot of times, the lighting just isn't um, what we're looking for. You know, it's gray, it's overcast, it's muted, it's so you can get good form, you can get good grays, good all of that. But then to add the light, to turn the lights on, I just love that effect. And it can take. Now, some people love the gray scenes. I do. I mean, I'm definitely a fan of monochromatic paintings, and I've done a lot of them myself. I've done underpaintings for like portraits, and people just wanted that before you even get to the color. If the tones are nice, if you got your values and everything nice, and you're using some nice grays, and if you'll notice in the original painting that I did, that plein air, those grays are just they're just rich. They're nice. They're nice looking. So why do this? Well, you don't have to, but it just adds quite an impact, as you'll see when we're finished. Um, I like to do it. It's fun to do, and I think some people like the color, and you could really use your imagination. And there's a lot of things because I didn't spend that much time on this. But you could work some mauves, as you can see there. There's I've got a bit of that going on, but I mean, you could really play it up in the cool areas, the greens, the blues, the mauves. All gray, all gray. But here we go to the palette, and you'll see that mixture. That's that mixture of viridian, ultramarine, and alizarin. A little bit of white in it. It's not because that mixture, if they're all kind of equally mixed, except for the alizarin. Alizarin's powerful. You have to be careful with that, as most of you will know. I've ruined more mixtures with alizarin crimson. It's powerful stuff. But in this case, what I'm doing too is I'm softening. I'm trying to keep everything soft. Um, I've noticed some paintings, if I could be critical, probably myself also, but I've noticed some beach scenes, wave scenes, and they almost look like concrete. It's like it just, it may be what the artist was seeing, but I don't think it was conveying, that that's foam on top and that it's water, not something hard or plastic or anything like that. So I'm just going in there and keeping everything pretty soft. Love the soft, and edges are important. Now this little round brush, this is a pretty neat little thing. And I will say this, it works a lot better when the underpainting is tacking up. I didn't get that far in this one. I mean, that paint is still wet. I painted the underpainting that morning and was going right to the collar in the afternoon. So, that's a mixture of cadmium, cad yellow, and cad orange, a little bit of white, and I'm placing that, getting that bounce off there on top of getting that lead in, that Z effect. And this is just hitting the tops of those waves, and that's accenting those the edges. But as I was talking about, I mean, the edges are very, very important. And the rule of thumb that I play on something like this, you don't want to scrub something out to where everything gets flat. But I wanted to keep pretty much soft, all the edges pretty soft. That is a grayish greenish mixture. It's not pure white. May look like that in places, but that's not what it is. It's kind of a grayish, greenish blue, a muted blue. Now you see the greens on the left. You see where I didn't. Sometimes I think I'm filming and I'm not. I'm just not. I'm the worst videographer. I'm going to have to get better because I'm going to be doing some more videos. And I'm toying around with, how the painting is working and using the white lines, the foam, whatever that is, to move your eye around the panel. And again, I've really been studying composition and getting ideas. I think it's one way we can all really improve our paintings by how we've placed things and arranged things in the painting, and be more mindful of that. I think that's going to give your art more impact. Mine. That's what I'm looking to do. Uh, but in this case, this is pretty simple composition, pretty straight on, and I couldn't really vary from it. There wasn't that much to move around, and I knew what my friend wanted. She'd already seen the one that you saw earlier, so I knew what she was wanting. So I couldn't stray too far from that. That's a little bit of a steal where we're at that point. But I'll come back in. I'd mix this grayish purple, and if you'll notice up in the sky, and I missed some of this, but I just went completely orange because I looked at some reference stuff that I had of that sunrise, and that sky turned red, but then the clouds were a shadowy mauve, except for the one right in front of the sun there. Man, it just turned blood red. It was beautiful. There's beautiful colors. There's a lot you could do here. I will definitely explore this again. Probably do a larger painting and be a little bit more thorough and explore some color and stuff that's going on there. The cools against the warms is just totally interesting. But yeah, from that trip, I've gotten all kinds of ideas, and I'll be honest with you, we weren't at the most interesting place. This is Sunset Beach, and it was nice and everything. Don't get me wrong, there just wasn't, your lighthouses and structures and all of that sort of interesting stuff. Now I'm going to go back in and refine this. As you can see, I've highlighted those clouds, so they're a little more pronounced. But that dancing off the water, I'll get that fixed. That's it right there, and then I just stuck it in this frame. Thanks for watching.